BYU defeats the Baylor Bears 34-28. The Cougars are 5-0 for the 8th time in program history, first time since 2021. Huge win for BYU today. It wasn't pretty in the second half. The Cougars only scored 3 points in the second 30 minutes, but the first half was brilliant from BYU. 3 drives, 3 touchdowns to open up the game, and BYU's now going into the bye week 5-0 and in the thick of the Big 12 Conference championship race. This was their first ever Big 12 road win, taking down the Bears today here in Waco. And offensively, BYU shined in the first half, but the second half it was a bit of a grind. And Baylor, as Jake Retzloff noted in the post-game press conference, they changed up some things schematically on BYU that maybe caused a little bit of issues, but ultimately they found a way to get it done. The interceptions were not ideal for BYU, but I think one of the big things that I come away from this game feeling is that BYU got punched in the mouth. They faced some adversity, yet they still won this football game. Now, Baylor's going to have some tough decisions ahead with Dave Aranda. When it got to 21-0, I'm thinking, is Dave Aranda going to have a job by the second half? So Baylor's got some issues, but they got personnel that can match up with BYU. BYU withstood the blows from Baylor, and they still came out on top. BYU last year would not have won this football game. You saw it against Oklahoma State. They folded when they had a big lead, and they lost that game in Stillwater. So another sign of progress for this BYU football program, and you got contributions from a lot of guys. And part of that was due to the injuries from so many players. I mean, you saw Connor Pay go out. He left the game on crutches. Kalani said he'll give an update on Monday on Connor Pay's status. Harrison Taggart was missing in the later part of the first half and then the entire second half. First half, we saw him on the sideline. He was just kind of standing watching the game, no helmet nearby him. But you had Sialia Sarah, Sione Moa step in, Ice Moa, Isaiah Moa made big plays. BYU dug into their depth once again and had guys perform. And I asked Crew Wakely, who came up with the game-clinching interception in this game, he just noted that these guys are all committed. They're all studying film. Regardless of where they stand on the depth chart, there's really good chemistry with this BYU football team right now. The running back situation, Enoch Nawahine gets the start, and he had 19 carries. There wasn't much pop to the ground attack from BYU's running backs, but there was enough from Nawahine to keep Baylor on its heels. Jake Retzloff also had some success on the ground, and even Sam Vanderhart, the punter, fake punt that was a big one, set up a BYU field goal later. He had a 22-yard fake punt rush. So, but Hinkley Rapati, we didn't see him. He was here. He was suited up, but didn't play any snaps. Sione Iamoa, the breakout star from last week, he did not make the trip to this game. He was banged up after the Kansas State game, and then L.J. Martin remains out. They're optimistic, of course, that he's going to be back for the Arizona game. So this bye comes at a critical time for BYU, as this, coming out of this game was a banged-up group. Kalani Sitake noted in the postgame that this turf was a little bit taxing on guys, and even players said that it was a bit slippery, and there were some issues there playing on this field turf surface here in Waco. But, BYU ultimately gets it done. They limited Baylor to 63 rushing yards. Sawyer Robertson, though, had a lot of success through the air. They went to basically an all-passing attack, 324 yards on 48 attempts. He completed 27 of those attempts. So the former Mississippi State transfer continues to show pretty well. And when they were moving down the field, down one possession, you thought, oh, man, here we go. BYU's going to squander this opportunity to get a first-ever Big 12 road win, but they tightened up and made the necessary plays to get out of here with a victory. Again, Cougs 5-0. Bye week next week. We'll hear from Kalani Sitake coming up on Monday. And then the Arizona Wildcats roll into Provo on October 12th. So Cougs riding high. They're going to stay in the top 25 rankings. I would expect they're going to move up a little bit in those polls. So everything in front of BYU to achieve this season. They've already matched the win total from last season. From Waco, Mitch Harper, KSL Sports.